What? That's a good question. What is that? Please?
Like an air filter.
Oh, that's an air filter. I've never seen that. Like, look right down. How old is this car?
64.
64.
64. Dang, I
64. One's last of the square backs. I knew it was an earlier one. They said 65, but that 65 they came up with a bit of different body style, a little bit different body style. Engine in the back. Ralph Nader really tore up this car, and for no reason really, because they were making Volkswagens. Same thing with the rear engine, Jeep CJ5s, you know, and you know they just want to pick. It's like they did the same thing with the Suzuki Samurai too. The Suzuki Samurai had rolled over less than like a Ford Bronco at the time in a Jeep CJ. I'll tell you, it's unsafe at any speed. Yeah, this is a great car because it's cheap. It's fun to drive. You got a lot of room on the inside because you got the rear wheel configuration, so you got a flat floor pan. You got a loaded trunk room in the front, you know. And you know you can always brace it up with some kind of aircraft aluminum or something too. I mean, if you really were concerned about crashes that much, they could always done that. And you know, since you don't have, see, you barely got a hump in the back here because there's no drive shaft going through the back. So I think he might have added that console. I'm not sure if that's stock, but that's cool if you got the what do you call it, your drink holders and stuff. You got your tachometer. Take another look at the engine bay again. Got a spare tire back here. Usually I think the spare is up in the front, but it's got it back here. And there's a big underneath where that fan is in the fan shroud, there's a big serpentine belt. No, it's right here. Yeah, it's right. You can see it right there. Excuse me, not under where the fan shroud is. I thought you could see it. I was like just talking. Yeah, right here, right there. Going to the generator. Those you got to kind of watch. You know, if they're not set up right, you could, you know, the belt could come off. But you know, they don't normally do that. But I know sometimes some people have a problem with it because they were not set up properly. But these are very reliable engines. Voltage regulator is actually like it's got the points set up in a regulator. It's an electronic regulator. You can actually adjust those regulators. You can even if they start wearing out, you just clean the points. You can adjust them and get your voltmeter out on your battery and see how it's charging. If you got a good charged battery, you can see you can adjust the regulator point gap. So none of this electronic stuff. I think does this have? Looks like, yeah, okay. It's got wire wheel covers on it, white wheel tires, red tonneau cover. All right, you got your filler up tank over here. Yeah, you know, they could even, you say you had this car and they made it today, right? They want to make it super safe. Okay, they can put the airbags in it, but say they put an airbag in the trunk that blew up if you got a front end collision that actually stopped, you know, anything from coming into the compartment. You had an airbag up there. How much would that add to the cost of the car? I don't think that much, and it wouldn't add any weight really because it's just an airbag system. But you know, I think really they're selling very expensive gimmicky cars with a lot of options that rich people want, and the average person can't afford a car. It's almost like when you had cars first came out in the beginning of the 1900s, you know, and I think they had Oldsmobile was one of the original manufacturers, and maybe Cadillac maybe, but it wasn't until Henry Ford came out with the Model T that they had a car that everybody could afford, especially made with farmers in mind. You can see the American public actually gravitates towards SUVs because they're looking for a practical car, but they can make the SUVs a lot more practical than they are now without all the bells and whistles, and just sell a car for probably half the price and still make the same profit. But it could be something somebody could buy brand new that they could, you know, use and not have to worry about as many repair bills because it doesn't have all these crazy options that can break. I'm actually a fan of going back to the roll down windows, you know. And you got your brake master cylinder up here. I think this uses, I'm not sure what it uses for the clutch. If you use a master cylinder or use a cable, I'm not sure. But this is the last of this body style. I think I think the Corvairs came out. It's okay, 64 square style. It's I think the Corvair came out in '59, I believe. And I think the last year was '69. And actually, these cars in the last years, the Monza, they really got developed, and there was really no reason. Well, they had the Camaro. That's why they got rid of the Corvair. They figured it was kind of redundant. But if you're actually looking for a classic car today that is in good shape and really nicely restored, the Corvair is way more affordable than Camaro. And actually, if you got like a '68 or '69 Monza Corvair, they might be a little more pricey than other Corvairs, but it's a lot more reachable than a Camaro.